Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back. Today we're doing a get ready with me because frankly I didn't know what else to film. Okay, so please excuse this potentially bad lighting and also my boring background. It's been a struggle, that's all I can say. I'm using the Makeup Forever Step 1 primer, mattifying primer. And then I'm also going to use the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Lotion as well. I have a few thoughts and feelings about L'Oreal. I think they're one of the brands that I'm going to take a break from, which I will talk about maybe in a little bit, but I just have it, so I'm just using it up. Now I'm going to take the Nars All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. This is on its very last legs. Oh. Okay. I don't know if this is going to be enough to do my whole face, but we'll see. I already filmed this once, and I honestly didn't even watch back the footage. I just deleted it because it was just so bad. I honestly just rambled the entire time. I didn't have a single concise thought the whole time I was filming, and it was just really bad, and I knew that I did not want to post that on the internet for anyone to see, so hence why there was no video on Sunday. And I was like, I just need to take a minute, compose my thoughts, think about what I want to say, and we'll just refilm it. And I think this foundation is officially finished, which I'm very sad about. I feel like this is one that I haven't talked about a lot on my channel, but it's one of my favorites. It's just so soul-crushingly expensive that I try not to use it a lot, and now it's done. And it won't happen anymore. Then I'm just going to go over that with a sponge. Now I'm going to use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Ash Brown as per usual. Reasons that I feel like I haven't really, not that I haven't wanted to film, because I actually have, I just feel like I don't know what to film, because I talked about it in my beauty bakery video, the video that I talk about trying a new black-owned indie brand every month, and I talk a little bit more about my thoughts on this in that video if you want to check it out. I'm going to prime my eyes using the Nars Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. But basically, I haven't really known what to film because beauty YouTube, obviously, is talking about makeup products, right? Like, regardless of what videos you film, there's always an aspect where you're talking about products, talking about your favorite products you use, whatever. And like I talked about in the beauty bakery video, a lot of the brands that I have loved in the past and use a lot on my channel, I feel like I need to take a break from buying them. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to use some of my single shadows. So I'm going to use some of my Looksy singles, and I'm also going to use some of my MAC singles that I haven't used in a really long time. I'm going to do the same look that I filmed before because I really liked the way that looked. But if there's anything that I miss because I'm talking or whatever, I'll leave it linked. Not linked, but listed down below. I'm just going to start with Looksy Beauty Tiger in my crease as a transition shade. A lot of the brands that I have loved and used a lot and used a lot of their products, I feel like I need to take a little bit of a break from them. Not necessarily canceling them outright, because then I feel like if you just cancel a brand outright, then there's no incentive for anyone or any company to ever change. But definitely a pause on buying their products. And so I feel like I have mixed feelings about like filming videos that, you know, I'm actually going to zoom you in a little bit more. How's that? Sure. And so I have a little bit of mixed feelings about filming videos that are promoting those like same brands or talking about those same products, from which I'm taking a little bit of a pause on. So I don't really know, because even if I film like revisiting old palettes or whatever, a lot of those brands are maybe brands that I just want to wait and see and give them some time to see how they can conduct themselves in the future. And so I would be really curious to know how you guys are approaching this in terms of like what brands you're supporting, what brands you're not supporting, brands that you're giving a break, etc., etc. I have really mixed feelings about it, so I would be really curious to hear other people's opinions. Like I talked about in my other video, I wasn't doing the best job that I could have been doing in terms of being a responsible consumer in terms of the brands I was supporting, but also I just like didn't know a lot of things that had gone on. I think mainly because I didn't use Twitter. This is gonna sound really stupid, but it's true. Like, I didn't use Twitter until literally quarantine started. Okay, I'm going to use Red Brick from MAC, but yeah, I basically didn't use Twitter until quarantine started. So what, in March? Like literally, I had a Twitter account. I did not use it. I did not go on the app. I think maybe the last time that I genuinely used Twitter was like grade 10, I swear to God. So apparently I've missed a lot, okay? But yeah, like, so for example, L'Oreal, if you have been living under a rock at this point, if you didn't know, basically in a campaign, I don't even know what campaign or any, like what it was, L'Oreal dropped Monroe Bergdorf, who is a Black woman, from their campaign for speaking out about racial issues, and they dropped her, and I don't think they ever like issued any type of public apology or anything like that. I genuinely don't know how I didn't know about this, and I should have known about it, but I honestly just did not. So because of that, because of their past actions, I'm going to go on a like little bit of a L'Oreal pause, which is obviously like I love L'Oreal. I mean, some of like my staple products are from them, so I mean that's disappointing, but it's whatever. Another brand is Colourpop. I think I'm going to go on a little bit of a pause from them as well, particularly regarding their like Colourpop Me Black, their response to that, and just their, hiring practices and things. Like, I just would like to see improvement from them before I buy from them again. And I also like loved Colourpop. Like, these, a lot of the brands that I really, really loved and were my favorites. I'm going on a little bit of a break. So I don't really know how to approach videos, because I just basically have to really think about how I'm going to approach talking about brands or products from brands that I'm going on a break from for now. Do I not include them? Do I include them and mention, you know, my opinions? I don't know. And certain brands like Makeup Revolution, who, when they pulled up and presented their hiring numbers of Black employees, it's not great. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it being pretty low. However, they are known, I mean, they're have always been controversial in terms of their, like, I would say dupes, but we all know it's more copying, like other brands' products. So they've, I mean, always been like a little bit contentious because of that. But they also have one of like the best shade ranges, particularly for a drugstore brand. So I'm a little bit conflicted because in my gut I want to support them because they are doing that, and it's more than a lot of brands honestly can say in terms of like being inclusive, but then their hiring practices are bad. So I'm a little bit conflicted about that. It's obviously like I'm not like constantly like only buying from Makeup Revolution, but I think I would continue to buy from them and then see if anything gets better in terms of, you know, their hiring practices, and then if not, then I will make the decision to go on a pause from them as well. And obviously these are only like a few specific examples, not like every single brand that I buy from or whatever that I'm going on a pause on, or I'm just talking about the ones that like were biggest for me and that come to mind. And then there's all these different aspects that I don't really know that I can be like, oh, one is more important than the other. So basically I haven't really known how to approach it. And so I think honestly my approach is just going to be, number one, buying less. Like if I have to buy something like mascara or whatever, then it is what it is. But I think I'm just going to slow down on buying like random shit that I don't necessarily need. And the difficult thing too is that a lot of them obviously are drugstore brands. I mean, there are high-end brands, hello, ABH, that are problematic, and it's not just ABH, but a lot of the like drugstore brands are obviously the most problematic ones, particularly because drugstore brands, we all know, have horrible shade ranges a lot of the time. And I mean, it's obviously something that I'm guilty of contributing to as well, because like I fucking bought the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and have bought from brands that don't have the best shade ranges in the past. So obviously I directly contribute to that. I mean, makeup is and always has been made for me, so I've obviously had the privilege of not having to think about, like, take that into account if I'm buying from a brand. Like, I can just go into a store and blindly buy whatever the fuck I want. But I don't want to do that anymore. So it's kind of where I'm leaning towards, that brands that don't have inclusive shade ranges, obviously I'm not interested in buying from them until they rectify that, but maybe giving the brand, like sticking to the brands that have more inclusive shade ranges and social media campaigns and stuff, kind of leaning toward them, and then still like waiting to see how they do in terms of hiring. And I'm not trying to be here like sitting on my pedestal, like obviously I've contributed to the issue, but I'm just trying to do what I can and be better, as like be the best that I can be in terms of being a responsible consumer in the future. Because I mean, YouTube has such like an intense influence over the products that people buy, and like what products get sold. Like it's crazy how much influence it actually has. So while I'm not influencing that many people, I still want to just be as best as I can. Okay, so I just cut my crease and we're just going to continue. I don't think there's any like right or wrong decision in terms of like what brands you want to support, other than maybe supporting Jeffree Star. That might be a wrong decision. But I mean, do what you want to do. It's your life, your money, but you might want to reevaluate that decision. Anyway, and that's why I wanted to start the Black-owned indie brand series that I'm going to be doing. I wanted to do it anyway, not necessarily Black-owned, but just trying a new indie brand every month. And honestly, most of the brands that I wanted to do that with anyway happened to be Black-owned, which is amazing. And I'm honestly I'm just so looking forward to doing that. And I honestly feel like also that's going to like prompt me into not like a full low buy, but something that resembles a low buy, because I don't think I'm going to be impulse buying makeup, especially from the drugstore anymore. So my purchases will definitely be more intentional. And if I have the like, I know that I'm going to have at least one new thing coming to me every month from an indie brand. I feel like I'm not going to have the same like impulse buy, like desire to just buy random shit that I don't need without really thinking about it, because I know like I have more makeup coming to me. I'm gonna use the Looksy Single Shadow in the shade Space Case. About what I just used, I used actually the shade Matte Sketch from MAC to deepen up my crease in my outer corner, and then I just used a random like matte bone colored eyeshadow on my brow bone. For concealer, I'm going to use the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Under Eye Concealer in the shade Ivory 05. And I actually just recently picked this up. I think it was just on a whim. Like it was earlier in quarantine when you were like only allowed to go in stores for a very short period of time. And I just needed a new concealer, so I just grabbed it. I do like it actually a lot. I don't think it has the best shade range though. I think it's better than Maybelline normally has, but I don't think it goes as deep as they have in their other like lines of products. Now I'm going to take the Beauty Bakery Flour Setting Powder. I use the shade Rice, and I have been absolutely loving this powder. I'm going to do a like full review of everything that I tried from Beauty Bakery. I'm just taking my time like testing it all out and whatever, but I really love this powder. And I'm just going to quickly do my normal setting powder routine. So I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte powder right now. I would like to also take a break, I think, from Rimmel right now. So if you guys have any suggestions for pressed powders that you love, I would be very curious to hear. Now I'm going to use the Tarte Smooth Operator Loose like finishing powder. just in my T-zone. And then I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana. I'm just going to put that all over my face. Now I'm going to take the Red Brick shade and just put that all along my lower lash line. And I'm just going to blend that out. And now I'm going to take Sketch, which is the color that I used in my crease, and put that along my lower lash line as well. I haven't used my MAC singles in a really long time, but I forgot how much I love Red Brick and Sketch together. I'm just going to take a little tap of that and blend it out. It's also funny because it brings me, using these brings me back to the time when I thought that having MAC, like a MAC singles palette was like the best, like it's the only thing that I wanted. It was like I was obsessed with like having my own MAC palette. Then I just took Tiger from Looksy to blend it out, and I'm going to take the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow. This is the shade Kitten Karma, and I'm going to take that on a brush. I'm going to take that on the brush that I used for my lid color. I'm just going to take a little bit off the wand and put that in my inner corner. I don't get nearly as much use out of these, the Stila liquid shadows that I have, and they're so beautiful. I'm so scared they're gonna like dry up. So I'm trying to get more use out of them. That's the thing about liquid shadows, is that they don't last forever. They will eventually go bad. Whereas I feel like powder products, regardless of whether or not you should use them for a long time, you can. Whereas like liquid products, sometimes you don't always have a choice. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder in Medium. I'm very close to running out of this, although it does last a long time. Now I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Indecent. I feel like I'm so close to hitting pan on this bronzer, and I'm so scared. I am not a panner. I have like a weird obsession with watching like people's project pans and following like pan accounts on Instagram, but I'm not that. Like I don't want to use up my makeup products. I want them to last forever and be never ending. But this bronzer is just so good that I use it so much. Well, I did use it a lot when I first got it, and now I like use it so sparingly because I'm gonna run out of it soon. Although I should just use it and buy another one. And I'm actually gonna go into the Beauty Bakery Milk and Honey highlighting palette. I'm going to take the shade Queen Being on like a duo fiber brush. I'm just going to tap into that and go over my bronzer, just to give it a little bit more of a glow. And now I'm going to spray my face using the Pixi Rose Glow Mist. And I was actually going to use my Natasha Denona highlighter, but I forgot to grab it. So I'm going to use the Milk and Honey highlighting palette again, and I actually think I'm going to mix these two shades. I'm going to mix the shade Spoiler Alert and the shade Be Sweet. The shade Be Sweet is so pretty, but it's definitely too dark for me, so I wonder if I can make it work by mixing it with the lighter shade. And for the rest of my face, I'm just going in only with the Spoiler Alert shade. For blush, I'm going to take the Likely Makeup Clown Blush Palette. I'm going to take the shades Carnival and Contortion mixed together. More Contortion though, just like a tiny touch of Carnival. I love this palette. You guys know I love this palette. Such a good blush formula, and I just desperately want the Fairy Blush palette. I might order that this month as well. Because I'm pretty sure Jordy did a restock of these. I want her to come out with so many more color cosmetics. I know she has a ton of lashes. Like, I think that's the main focus of her brand. She has 2 blush palettes out as well, but I just want her to do like 50 blush palettes and eyeshadow and highlighters, because if her blush formula is anything and any type of indication, it's gonna be pretty fucking bomb. For my freckles today, I'm actually going to take the MAC Single Shadow in the shade Saddle. It's like the perfect freckle color. Okay, and so I'm going to quickly put some liner and lashes and mascara on, and then we will finish the lips and be done. Okay, so I put lashes on, I did mascara. I used the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara in waterproof, and I used the Colourpop Creme Gel liner in the shade Puppy. My lashes are not equal or even or looking the same, but you know what? That's okay. We're just going to ignore it, because I'm a firm believer that your makeup only needs to look good from slightly far away. It doesn't have to look perfect from close up. You know, that's okay. So for lips, I'm going to use the NYX Lip Lingerie in the shade Honeymoon. Not my favorite liquid lipstick formula, but in the interest of using the liquid lipsticks that I already have that are probably already way past expired, I'm going to use this. Okay, and that completes this video. I hope it was somewhat entertaining. I like filming Get Ready With Me's, and I also love watching them, so I hope you guys do as well. Please let me know if there's any specific videos you'd like to see from me, because I'm in a little bit of a rut in terms of brainstorming or like what video ideas to do. I don't know, but if you have any suggestions, that would be much appreciated. Yeah, thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.